Most efficient, sturdy, and reliable.
It's News 360 live here on TV3. Good evening and welcome. I am Aisha Yakubu.
And I am Noble Crosbyanan, and these are the headlines of tonight's bulletin.
News 360 headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal,
EcoBank.
Pre-tertiary teacher unions to engage the Minister of Education, Haruna Idrisu, in the coming days on addressing challenges associated with computerized school selection and placement system.
Farmers and residents in 10 Ayenswano communities fear losing their farmlands to the private developer as they call for urgent government intervention.
Once considered taboo, body piercing is now gaining popularity among Ghanaian youth as a bold expression of identity and creativity. We have the details shortly.
We'll bring you international news much later as Russia successfully tested its nuclear-powered cruise missile. A nuclear-capable weapon, Moscow says, can pierce any defense shield. You're welcome to the program. We're live also on all our social media platforms at TV3 Ghana. Let's get interactive there and start the bulletin from here.
We're beginning with education as pre-tertiary teacher unions are set to engage the Minister of Education, Haruna Idrisu, to discuss ways of resolving challenges associated with the computerized school selection and placement system. Our Labour Affairs correspondent Daniel Opoku engaged with two of the unions, the Ghana National Association of Teachers and the National Association of Graduate Teachers, and has filed this report.
Education Minister Haruna Idrisu has announced plans to reform the computerized school selection and placement system ahead of the 2026 academic year. During a visit to the Presbyterian Boys Senior High School, Presec, Legon, On Monday, October 20, 2025, the minister noted that the current placement system is not functioning effectively. There have been widespread public concerns over the placement process in recent years. Some parents have complained about alleged extortion and payment of money to change postings for their wards. Ahead of the reforms, the leadership of the Ghana National Association of Teachers (NAT) and the National Association of Graduate Teachers (NAGRAT) say they will engage the Education Minister on measures to improve the system.
Placement, we will look at the catchment area aspect of it, because, for example, if you take Cape Coast like this, they've given all their lands out for schools. So certainly in the review of it, the catchment area should have certain percentage of admission there.
Well, we engage minister on issues on our welfare and also issues that affect general education. And honestly, we will have discussion and these things will come out. My minister is a minister who believes in engagement. So our stakeholder meetings, we attend stakeholder meetings with him and the entirety of management, and we raise some of these issues.
The computerized school selection and placement system was introduced in 2025 to replace the manual and often frustrating process of placing students into senior high schools. The system was designed to enhance transparency, efficiency, and fairness, but some observers say this has not been fully achieved.
The categorization of the schools, Category A, Category B, you see, name is important too. Why don't we ask us, have you ever heard somebody giving the child's name Satan? Have you ever heard it before? No. You see, no, I have never seen a parent who will give birth and say Satan or dog or pig. No. It is important that we take note of all those things.
Why is a school like WAS in Adenta not preferred like a school like Presec? Because they are just about 10 kilometers apart. Can you tell me why a school like Laboni, in a plush environment in Accra, not preferred like Achimota? Why are we categorizing the schools?
Now, still on education, but now on discipline in the schools, the Minister for Education, Haruna Idrisu, has issued a stern warning against inappropriate hairstyles and dressing among students in the various second cycle institutions in the country. At the 75th anniversary celebration of Maule Senior High School in Ho on Saturday, the Minister urged the Ghana Education Service and school heads to take full control of how students behave on campus.
There is an ongoing debate in social media about haircuts and size and length of hair in secondary schools. We will not tolerate it today, we will not tolerate it tomorrow, and so long as we are molding character, if we give it to head today, tomorrow it will be shoes, and the next day it will be the way they dress. Therefore, as part of our disciplinary measures, headmasters and GES, you are accordingly empowered to take full control of how students behave on your campuses. So anybody who thinks that your child will walk into any institution of learning as if that child, forgive my words, was to attend a beauty contest, the school environment is not for that purpose and not that for that purpose, and we will not tolerate that as an institution.
The minister, who represented the Vice President, Nana Jane Opoku Ajiman, as the special guest at the school's 75th anniversary celebration, also reiterated government's firm stand against teachers who engage in sexual misconduct with students. He also commended Maule School for its role in molding key personalities who continue to contribute to the country's development.
There is a lot of growing in discipline in our schools, some even with teachers abusing learners. We would not accept that. We would apply heavy sanctions to any teacher who wants to take advantage of a learner. And to the students, you only can walk away from Maule School with two values: discipline and integrity, and the future is yours. So Maule School You have every reason today at 75 to celebrate.
Meanwhile, Minister for Roads and Highways, Kwame Gavins Agboja, a former student of the school, urged his colleagues to hold firm on the values impacted by the school in every sphere of public life.
In an age where corruption, greed, and moral compromise threaten the very foundation of our nation, we must be different. Let us lead by example in public service, in business, in education, and every sphere of our lives. Let us demonstrate that values instilled here, discipline, honesty, and hard work still matter and still produce results.
Moving away from education, farmers and residents of 10 communities in the Ayinsuano district say they are on the verge of losing their land to a private developer. They are calling on the government to intervene, warning that failure to act could cost them their livelihoods.
Tension is already high in the 10 affected communities who risk losing over 4,000 acres of land in the Ayinsuano district of the Eastern region. Farmers say they can no longer access their farmlands for fear of being threatened. The lands they want to take away from us is what we farm. If they take it from us, we have no work to do again. There's no work in this community. We fear going to the farm. We used to harvest lots of cassava at Yakum and Pokum, but now we can't even find anywhere. We have been shortchanged. The private developer now claims the land belongs to him. We have no idea how he got it registered. This is a sad news. Farming, they say, is their only source of livelihood. Others claim they're also losing their residential properties to the private developers.
We would make pepper farm and corn and other things. They make a very huge, big road. One side they cleared about 3 plots away. Another side they took, even in the middle, 2 times they divide the place into 2 different sizes. And you know, I asked my junior brothers to raise some small building because that's where I normally have meetings with my fellow Northerners. But with this distraction, we don't know their plan. We don't know what is going on.
The Ayinsuano District Chief Executive Joshua Yaolate is however calling for calm as he leads the District Security Council to engage the parties involved in order to resolve the matter amicably.
But the encroachers are private developers who have come to Teacher Mante, Esuboy, and Amanasi enclaves. We will ensure that this problem and will resolve it. They should have confidence in me.
Let's now talk about a major infrastructure development. We're talking about roads now because the Aplao-Tema road network, once hailed as a major link to boost trade and ease travel along Ghana's eastern corridor, has now become a daily struggle for commuters as detours worsen on the motorway and construction stalls on the Aplao road. Frustration is growing among drivers and residents who navigate the dusty and uneven roads in hopes of a smoother journey ahead. Elsie Ado has more in this report.
The Tema Aplao project was among several road projects suspended in December 2022 due to the debt restructuring program introduced by the then Akufo-Addo administration. The debt restructuring triggered a funding freeze on several key infrastructure projects across the country. In April this year, work officially resumed on the Tema Aplao road project following appeals and financial reassurances from the government. The project is expected to ease trade and travel. The project is expected to ease trade and travel between Ghana's eastern corridor and the Tema port. But for those who live along and use the route, progress has come at a cost. The road construction, meant to improve travel, has instead become a daily nightmare, especially along the Aplao-Dowinya stretch. Each day, Drivers have to navigate through rough detours carved out as temporary escape routes. Contractors say they are aware of the challenges and have put in place measures to mitigate them. These include regular watering to reduce dust, safety signage, and temporary access route to ease the burden on communities while work continues. But sometimes drivers and commuters do not take heed.
There are some people that deflect driving through the fence without going to the school or something. So some of them, they do abide by it, but majority, they don't. They don't even know whether there is a sign here or there is no sign here. And some of them, they don't even know if there is supposed to be a sign placed somewhere or not. Because they, yes, is to just drive, the road is there, then they go.
At the start of the year, the Minister for Roads and Highways, Kwame Gavins Agboja, spoke about the project.
A place like this, which is the TT Junction, it beats my mind whether BHM is incapable of basically fixing this as a temporary measure. What kind of procurement process do you need to just get an asphalt person to just fix these little things?
BHM Construction Company Limited then assured that the remaining task would be completed.
There was a delay in the procurement process, but whilst we were waiting on the asphalt to be fixed, instead of just sitting and waiting, we took up the responsibility of demolishing the properties in our way when construction takes effect.
Drivers and commuters, however, have expressed disappointment over the slow pace of work on the road. Portions of the stretch are riddled with potholes, covered in dust, and narrowed by diversions.
This runabout that was built has been left and has caused major traffic. Meanwhile, there is so much space in between.
They said the road is under construction, but if they don't do it, we will sit in the dust like this. We keep coughing, and when we go to the hospital, they tell us that the dust is too much.
Look at this traffic. It can take you 3 hours to get to Dawonya. Meanwhile, the journey is just about 5 minutes.
Until reconstruction is completed, commuters, traders, and residents will have to endure the traffic and the dust.
Futuristic homes built with disposed plastic bottles. This is how some locals of Abontem are turning an environmental adversity into an opportunity, a move aimed at revolutionizing the country's housing sector. William Evansinkum has more in the following report.
In the Subin Canal, tons of plastic bottles. At Abontem, it is trash for cash. Futuristic homes with pure traditional touch. This house is being constructed with disposed plastic bottles. Tons packed, ready to be used. The chief of Abontem, Nanam Ponsasechi, has introduced a number of people to this craft. 55-year-old Benedicta Ponsa accepted the challenge.
Nana Abontem hina kofa the classmate phobia.
It was the chief who introduced me to this craft. I can build now.
Ntiwe boa me amenya nsanu dwuma. Na yes ade we no so no. Ama nipa bebre pese.
Already some people have requested we build a similar house for them. I am happy because I see this as a livelihood with huge prospects.
Today, she's among the few people determined to revolutionize the country's housing sector.
Here at Abontem, the chief is using this model to change the livelihoods of the people. It is not only a paradigm shift when it comes to construction, but also encouraging women to take up a new opportunity, an opportunity which will define their very life in the future.
A blend of tradition and modern method of construction. This bus stop at Abontem was constructed with plastic bottles and it is now being used. Nanam Pomasechi says
It is his vision to create job opportunities for the youth through this innovation. When I took over the stool, I realized the huge unemployment rate. Most of the youth were only interested in the sale of plots, so I introduced them to the plastic waste project. We have a plan of building more of these model houses for tourism, an affordable housing project. We are already working with the district assembly.
Starting with the district assembly, Bosonchi district assembly, many DC in the Hong Kong or Tunipa Mama Beshe, and on or say a kind of plans on say on also be Boama Adru Abayanim.
Aside the number of development he's embarking in his community, he hoped to allocate large portion of land for the construction of these model houses to complement government efforts in closing the country's housing deficit gap.
Let's shift focus beyond Ghana's borders as Ivorians around the globe are anxiously awaiting the result of the country's Saturday presidential election. The election is widely expected to give incumbent Alhassan Ouattara a controversial fourth term. Stanley Niblo prepared this report.
Ivorians voted peacefully on Saturday, October 25, to elect their president in a poll held without key opposition leaders. Nearly 9 million voters were to participate in the process, but the election failed to generate much enthusiasm. The Independent Electoral Commission of Côte d'Ivoire estimated voter turnout at 50%, with exact figures expected later on Sunday. 4 opposition candidates stood against the head of state, Alassane Ouattara. Former Trade Minister Jean-Louis Billon, a dissident of the Democratic Party of Côte d'Ivoire. Simon Ehive Epous Gbagbo, Awa Don Melo, a sovereigntist allegedly close to the pro-Russian circles, and Henriette Lagou, a moderate opposition figure. The election generally received low voter turnout in areas such as Anono, Bonua, and Mama, hometown of former President Laurent Gbagbo. Voting in Ivorian missions abroad were also characterized by low voter turnouts.
1, 2, 3, 4. Et Simon Epous Gbagbo. 4.
Ivorian political analysts have blamed the absence of leading opposition figures on the low voter apathy. However, turnout was relatively high in pro-Ouattara dominated areas such as Bouaké, Ivory Coast's second largest city, and in the northern part of the country. There were also reported cases of disruptions in some 200 polling stations, with observers indicating theft of electoral materials. Previous presidential elections in Côte d'Ivoire have resulted in deadly violence. A classic case is the one that ushered President Ouattara into office in 2010, where some 3,000 people died. Prior to the election, 2 of Alassane Ouattara's main rivals, former President Laurent Gbagbo and international banker Tidjani Thiam, were banned from running by the Constitutional Council, citing Gbagbo's criminal conviction and Thiam's nationality issues. Stanley Niblo, TV3 News, Accra.
10, 11, 12.
To some more news this evening, what was once considered a taboo practice is now gaining acceptance as a form of self-expression and personal identity. Ghanaian youth are increasingly embracing body piercing, adorning various parts of the body with intricate designs and studs. Rosalinda Abadjoa explores this trend further in the following report.
From earlobes to noses, tongues, and beyond, body piercing is gaining popularity among Ghanaians of all ages. Meet Marian, a lady with 6 ear piercings. She's looking forward to having more of that. According to her, she's inspired by fashion and does not mind going through all the pain to have any part of her body pierced.
I love fashion, and this is the part of fashion that I like. Apart from the normal one that we girls normally get right at our belly, I have 5 with my ears 4, and I have a navel piercing. Growing up, these are the desired piercings I wanted. and I have them, most especially this one. It's something I love. If there's anything unique about it, I don't know, but it's something I just like. We live in a world where whether there are risks or no risks, we still want to take risks.
Marin said she's not perturbed by public perceptions of people with multiple piercings.
People see you and they be like, you don't have home training. Your parents are aware that you have this, you have that. And well, you'll get used to it. So for me, it doesn't really bother, it doesn't matter and all that. And I don't think I always expose them. Most of the times they are covered when maybe I have wig caps on and all that. So even if they're exposed, I don't mind.
Some say the shift in perception can be attributed to the growing influence of social media, which has exposed Guineans to diverse cultures and lifestyles. Celebrities and influencers are also contributing to the normalization of body piercing, proudly showcasing their piercings online. Evelyn Chumesi owns a piercing studio, and she says the business is lucrative.
Of course, people comes here strictly by appointment, as you know yourself. And they comes a lot. And of course, piercing it's a good business.
She advises the youth to take their time and not take hasty decisions in piercing their bodies. Despite the growing acceptance, some Guineans still hold reservations about body piercing.
In African culture, it doesn't look nice. Our tradition too, it doesn't look nice. So I will not allow my daughter to do that. Even my enemy, I will not advise her to do it.
I love fashion, but for piercing, I don't like it. Seriously, I don't like it. So for maybe some people would like to do this thing.
We ask a medical doctor at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Dr. Fatima Muhammad, if the practice has health implications.
If you have an underlying medical condition like diabetes with delayed wound healing, such patients may end up with a more prolonged healing time than the average patient. And we've seen people who have used all these piercings and sharp objects end up with infections.
Dr. Fatima Muhammad said piercing certain parts of the body is even more injurious.
You can pierce your clitoris, but you may end up damaging all the nerves there. You may end up with residual pain because we have something called neuropathic pain from nerve origin, which can be really severe, and it mostly doesn't respond to our conventional pain medications. So strictly speaking, we advise against it.
Some Ghanaians are of the view that while self-expression is important, it should not come at the expense of cultural heritage, calling for a balance between modern trends and traditional norms. With piercing studios rapidly springing up and Ghana becoming more cosmopolitan, there's concern that body piercing may continue to gain acceptance. However, there are those who still advocate for preserving cultural traditions and values.
To some other stories tonight, the Vice President, Professor J. Nano Pokwajman, says Ghana is steadily moving from exporting raw materials to producing finished goods that capture real value. She said the country has the potential to produce its own food rather than import it, and announced government initiatives such as the Grow 24 program to support the goal. The Vice President delivered a keynote address at the Norman International Dialogue in Naira in the United States.
The Vice President said Ghana spends over $2 billion annually to import food that can't be produced locally and stressed the need to change the narrative. She said government is implementing a 5-year agricultural risk management strategy focusing on crops like tomato and maize to enhance food security and promote sustainable agriculture.
Ghana believes that she should be able to grow nearly all the food she consumes. Life in the tropics implies a boom for agriculture. Our value chains hold tremendous potential, requiring deeper integration, modernization, partnerships, and collaborations.
The Vice President said government initiatives such as the Grow 24 program, which seeks to modernize agriculture and support agro-manufacturing, would not only help ensure food security, but create jobs for the youth.
Ghana's strategic reforms in agriculture hinge on greater resilience, innovation, equity, governance across production systems, nutrition, and trade. The Feed Ghana program is His Excellency President John Mahama's flagship initiative to accelerate transformation in a coordinated, market-driven manner.
She acknowledged that women constitute more than half of Ghana's agricultural workforce, but face barriers to land, credit, technology and training, noting the Women's Development Bank will help correct the iniquities. The Vice President called for partnerships with investors, governments, universities and development banks to support Ghana's agricultural transformation agenda.
In the ever-evolving world of agriculture, improved varieties are key to boosting productivity and ensuring food security. Ghanaian scientists have discovered the white sorghum varieties with high drought resistance. There's more in the following report by our Upper West correspondent Ibrahim Wangara.
Farmers in the savanna regions will have less reason to worry about cultivating for higher yields. The Council for Scientific and Industrial Research Savannah Agricultural Research Institute, CSIR SARI, has showcased their white sorghum varieties aimed at introducing farmers and aggregators to these 4 high-yielding cereals. The initiative is under the Sustainable Sorghum Sourcing in Ghana with some international partners. The objective is to enhance the sustainable supply of high-quality white sorghum for processing purposes, targeting over 12,000 smallholder and commercial farmers. The improved white sorghum varieties, according to SARI, are drought-tolerant and can grow in any type of soil. Chief Technologist and Head of On-Farm Adaptive Research at SARI, Haruna Ali, speaks on the varieties.
The varieties that we have here are climate-smart varieties. They are improved to ensure that they can tolerate drought spells or drought. Then they are also early maturing varieties. You also realize that our soils are becoming very poor because of continuous cultivation. So these particular varieties can perform well across a range of different soils. It is now a very good raw material for the Guinness industry. No matter the quantity that you are able to produce, uptakers is not an issue.
The project has partnered with 29 aggregation businesses while working with 16,000 smallholders and 235 commercial farmers to cultivate over 28,000 acres of white sorghum in the 2025 crop season.
We are working to drive the production and sustainable sourcing of white sorghum for industrial brewing. This project is funded by Guinness Ghana Castell Group. It means that there is available market for sorghum.
The farmers and aggregators, shortly after observing the varieties in the demonstration farm, shared their views.
I'm seeing an improved version over here. So as an aggregator, I'm extremely happy, and I know our aggregation this year is going to be quite encouraging, seeing what I'm seeing on the Domo fields.
I've never seen this one before in my life. When I came here and I was told these are open pollinator variety, I couldn't believe, because there's no difference between the open pollinator one and what has been brought outside the country. So that's what I said, I'm shocked. So if we are able to do much of the sorghum, then we are going to increase our income at the end of the day.
And now, hundreds of women from the Sekondi Takoradi metropolis who attended a breast cancer screening at Connect FM have praised the station for its long-standing commitment to the community. In a related development, the station has announced it will soon launch new programs specifically designed to benefit clients and partners.
In a final push to mark the end of October's Breast Cancer Awareness Month,
A collaborative effort between Media General subsidiary in Takoradi Connect FM, Westview Medical Center and Anaje Choice Mart on Saturday saw hundreds of people being screened at a breast cancer screening and education campaign. Dr. Ramatu Dusoro is a medical doctor with Westview Medical Center in Takoradi.
Breast cancer is the most common cancer in Ghana and is the leading cause of all cancer-related death in women especially. So although the month of October has been earmarked for breast cancer screening, let's not forget to take care of our breasts the whole year. So that means every month you have to do self-breast examinations. And make that a habit. If you notice any swellings in your breast, any nipple discharge, please visit your nearest hospital and a healthcare worker will be there to attend to you.
Connect FM's sales executive William Mausi Doche, impressed by the event turnout, called on the business community to leverage the station's extensive listenership.
We are very impressed with the figures that will be today. We were not expecting this number, but the numbers coming in are showing a positive feedback, showing that Connect indeed is leading and number one. Going forward next year or ending the year, Connect, we have a lot of goodies, that's a lot of activities that will even pull more than these numbers that you are seeing. So if you are a business person and you are watching me, we hope that you will come and partner us and enjoy these numbers that you are seeing today.
Some beneficiaries praise Connect FM for its long-standing dedication to the region.
Because Okasa yeti and dear Damase. The video we in fact, breast cancer on your cry. I tried the way I would try, and look for now at the early stage, not a detect now, or you came a while, or yet sing there, a best if you are not wait a win for.
Well, as this week marks the final week of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we want to paint a clear picture of what breast cancer truly looks like in Ghana beyond the pink ribbons and slogans. Through this data story, we'll shed light on the facts, the faces, and the fight to move Ghana from awareness to early action and from survival to lasting change. Noble Crosby Annan is already at the dashboard to bring us the numbers. Crosby, how are the numbers looking like?
Aisha, I'll paint the picture for you just like you mentioned, but let's walk through this. As we step into this short but revealing dashboard, let's remember that this isn't just about data. It's about the real picture of breast cancer in Ghana, what the numbers mean for families, for women, and for all of us. So let's look beyond the ribbons and then let's look into the reality. This is it. Every year, over 5,000 Ghanaian women, they are newly diagnosed with breast cancer. That's 5,000 women, 5,000 teachers, mothers, market women, nurses, young professionals, all starting a journey they never planned for. And this single disease accounts for almost 1/3 of all cancers in women across the country. Now, each one of them begins a journey filled with uncertainty, filled with fear and hope, often after discovering the disease much later than they should have. Breast cancer now makes up 31% of all cancers among women in the country. That means nearly 1 in every 3 female cancer cases in Ghana is breast cancer alone. Let's move on and see what it talks about. And no, it's no longer something that happens far away. The question we need to ask ourselves isn't just how many are being diagnosed, but how many more could have been saved if detected early. Let's move on to the next slide to see what this really means for survival. And this is it. Now, out of those diagnosed, about 2,369 women die every year. That's nearly 1 in every 2 women who battle the disease. Think about that for a moment. Every 2 women, 1 survives, another does not make it. And what makes this especially painful is that many of these deaths are preventable with early detection, timely treatment, and better support systems. Now, many assume that breast cancer is a disease for older women, but the data says something different. It is changing. In Ghana, more women in their 30s and 40s are being diagnosed. And these are women in their most active years, raising families, building careers. The risk increases with age, yes, especially after 40. But we can't afford to ignore the younger age bracket anymore. And the growing number of younger cases tell us that something needs to happen. Breast cancer no longer waits for age. Let's move on to see how many Ghanaian women are actually getting tested and what that means for the bigger picture. This is it. You're seeing this number on your screen. Here's where the real challenge is. 8 out of 10, every 10 Ghanaian women have never been screened for breast cancer. That's not just a statistic. That's generations of women walking around unaware of their status. But one simple test can be the difference between catching it early or discovering it too late. And even though we dedicate 1 month each year, October, to breast cancer awareness, the disease does not wait for October. As this awareness month gradually walks to a close, the message shouldn't just fade away with it. The pink ribbons and the campaigns remind us to start, but it's our consistency afterward that truly saves lives. Now, let's look at what's driving these numbers up. Some causes are beyond our control, like things like family history or genetic mutations. But many of the risks we face today are shaped by the way we live. Factors such as early menstruation or late menopause increase exposure to hormones over time. Having fewer children or delaying childbirth also plays a role. And these are trends we're seeing more often in modern Ghanaian life. Add that to our urban lifestyle. Long hours of sitting, less exercise, fast foods, stress, and processed meals. And we begin to see how lifestyle and environment are quietly contributing to the challenge we're facing in the country when it comes to this cancer. And then there is the mention of age as well. After 40, it means your risk is higher. Keep testing. Now, know that if lifestyle can raise the risk, the lifestyle can also reduce the risk. Let's now look at what each of us can do in our small daily choices that can make the biggest difference. The hopeful part is this. We are not already out of this yet. We already know what works. We know that early detection through regular self-exams and screening, longer breastfeeding, which not only benefits babies but protects the mothers as well. A diet that is rich in fruits and vegetables, limited alcohol, no smoking, regular exercises. I mean, these may sound small, but they together, they are powerful shields against what we're talking about. So, as Breast Cancer Awareness Month draws to a close, we are in the last week. Let's not pack away the pink ribbons and move on. Let's carry forward the message that they stand for. Remember that this was put together by the 3 News Research Desk. And now, if you didn't know, now you know. This is still News 360. We're back with more stories. After this break, stay with us.
Why are more and more professionals choosing flamingo paint?
As an interior decorator, I aim for that beautiful, elegant look. Flamingo paint has great
sports segment is brought to you by
Sasso insecticide spray and coil.
It's time for sports here on News 360. I am Aniela Alute. We start off on the domestic front with game week 7 of the Ghana Premier League. Accra Hearts of Oak were held to a 2-2 draw by BBNE Gold Stars earlier this afternoon. Mauli Wayo gave the lead to the Phobians just before half-time, but man of the match, Samuel Atakumi's brace in the second half put them in quite a dicey spot. It took a 71st minute George Parker goal to rescue a point for the Phobians. Let's take a look at the highlights.
Wayo goes past his marker. Mauli Wayo tried the cutback and it's an own goal. The BBNE Gold Stars have conceded. The pressure has paid off.
One of the best head balls there, but look at Wayo cleverly striving past. Vincent Tatinga got himself into a very good area. He was looking for the cutback for Kabnousu.
Goes past Mensah. Sends the cross in, and San Razak and Gold Stars have the equalizer at the Accra Sports Stadium. Samuel Atakumi and Atakumi would not mind. He's equalized. That's the build-up from Bermaba.
Very intelligent play there from Gold Stars. Once they won the free kick, it was a quick free kick that was taken. Bermaba got the ball, straight past his man. Rafael Amponsa was...
Duku would take over for Gold Stars. It's a lovely ball to Barry Maba chasing down the right. Barry Maba chance. Cutback. Atakumi. And it's the second goal for Gold Stars. They've stunned the Phobians at the Accra Sports Stadium. Oh,
to get the goal. Brilliant pass there from Samson Eduku. Barry Maba took it on the bounce, got into the penalty area. The cutback was brilliant. And Atakumi lurking just behind the penalty spot.
Swings in across. Kobe has missed and has to have the equalizer. The Phobians are back
to find the net for the Phobians, even with 10 men. Look at that delivery. Sweet there. But Kobe missed it and Paco.
Staying in Africa, it has been 3 months since the Black Queens secured bronze in Morocco at the 2024 Women's Africa Cup of Nations. However, the allowances and bonuses are yet to be paid. Akosia J brings us this report on the mood within the camp.
So almost 3 months.
Heading over now to England, Arsenal remain top of the league with 22 points after claiming a 1-0 result in the game against Crystal Palace. Eberechi Eze fired home the winner at the Emirates Stadium for the Gunners. Elsewhere at Villa Park, Manchester City were defeated by Aston Villa thanks to a volley from Matty Cash, effectively ending the Sky Blues' 9-man unbeaten run. Here are the highlights. In today's El Clasico brought defeat and a red card for Barcelona. With all 3 goals of the game scored in the first half, it was Kylian Mbappe and Jude Bellingham who delivered the victory for Real Madrid. There was, however, another opportunity for Mbappe in the 52nd minute, but he missed the penalty. Let's take a look at the highlights.
Mbappe's in behind.
360. I am Aniela Alute.
Welcome back. Let's now take you outside to the Ghanaian border.
Russia has successfully tested its nuclear-powered Burevestnik cruise missile, a nuclear-capable weapon Moscow says can pierce any defense shield. President Vladimir Putin said on Sunday Russia will move towards deploying the weapon. The test, alongside a nuclear drill last week, sends a message that Russia, in Putin's words, will never bow to pressure from the West over the war in Ukraine, as US President Donald Trump takes a tougher stance against Russia to push for a ceasefire. Russia says the 9M73 Burevestnik is invincible to current and future missile defenses, with an almost unlimited range and unpredictable flight path. The US and China have agreed the framework of potential trade deal that will be discussed when their respective leaders meet later this week. The US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said this included a final deal on TikTok's US operations and a deferral on China's tightened rare earth minerals controls. He also said he did not anticipate the 100% tariff on Chinese goods threatened by US President Donald Trump coming into force, while China will resume substantial soybean purchases from the US. Both nations are seeking to avoid further escalation in a trade war between the world's two largest economies. Cameroonian authorities have detained about 30 politicians and activists linked to opposition presidential candidate Issa Chiroma. His campaign said Sunday, heightening tensions ahead of Monday's announcement of results of an October 12 election. Among those detained are Anicet Ikane, leader of Mandima Party, and Giocam Chameni, a prominent figure in the Union for Change movement. Both had supported Chiroma's candidacy. In a post on his campaign's Facebook page on Sunday, Chiroma rejected accusations of insurrection and alleged that government officials had sought to negotiate with some of those arrested before their detention. Chiroma, a former minister and once an ally of President Paul Biya, has claimed victory in the election and stated he will not accept any other result. Protests have flared in several cities during the past week after partial election results reported by local media showed Biya was on course to be declared the winner. Red Cross and Egyptian teams have been permitted to search for the bodies of deceased hostages beyond the yellow line, demarcating the Israeli military's pullback in the Gaza Strip. Under the fragile U.S. brokered ceasefire reached on October 10, Hamas is expected to return all the remains of Israeli hostages as soon as possible. Israel agreed to give back 15 bodies of Palestinians for every body of hostage. Israel has sent back the bodies of 195 Palestinians so far, while Hamas has returned 18 bodies of hostages. U.S. President Donald Trump warned on Saturday that he is watching very closely to ensure Hamas returns more bodies within the next 48 hours.
And that's all time we'll allow for this edition of News 360. We came to you live from our studios here at the Subway Kanda in Accra. There's more news always on our website, 3news.com. I am Noble Crosby.
And I am Aisha Yakubu Khalid. Have an amazing new week.